Good evening and welcome to the Good News Show. My name is Jerry Leopaldi, host and originator of the Good News Show. Its format is dedicated to individuals and to organizations doing things for the betterment of society. We have been on cable television for approximately 12 years on the largest cable system, one of the largest in the country, and certainly the largest in the state of New Jersey. We have had labor leaders, business leaders, religious, political, social, and just plain independents on our program discussing virtually anything that has anything whatever to do with the betterment of society. Now, through the last presidential campaign, a very, very big issue was the issue of health care and the excessive costs and the complexity of problems that confront the American people. Well, I had a doctor on not too long ago, and he spoke about several phases that he considered to be wrong in the health care system insofar as overpricing and cheating on various levels was concerned. And then I had more phone calls asking for more information. And as though in answer to a prayer, an old friend of mine, Victor Melillo, called me and informed me in a very excited fashion of a great program that he had become affiliated with, HBS Health Benefits Services. And he outlined the multitude of services provided by this plan. And I was really, really interested. And I said as follows to Victor. I said, Victor, if you want me to program anything pertaining to HBS, then you've got to produce either the president, the chairman of the board, somebody on a very high level, because there's just too many phony programs drifting around throughout this country. And I want to meet the people who are involved. I want to know who they are, what they are, and have them answer questions in front of the cameras so that someone can't say, well, no, I didn't mean that, I didn't say this, I didn't say that. Victor said, good enough. 4 or 5 days later, phone rings, Victor Melillo, Jerry, name your date, time, and place. And so, as a result of my, let's say, invitation or challenge, however you wish to put it, we have now with us Mr. Ed Platel, Chairman of the Board of HBS. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Very pleased to be here.
It's very nice of you to come out. It's Saturday, 12th of December, 1992, and it's snowing like crazy out there.
Sure is.
So you must be a very dedicated person. Now, Ed, as I mentioned to Victor, and you know the format of this program, I'm going to shoot questions at you. We have 30 minutes, and we're going to try to cover everything. First and foremost, question that always occurs to me when someone comes along with the new program, who are you? Where do you come from? What's your background? And are there others affiliated with this plan, and who are they?
Well, I am an ex-international representative for one of the largest labor unions in the country. I spent many years traveling across the country negotiating contracts for thousands of workers with very large corporations and some small companies. And one of the inadequacies that I've always noticed was that there was never enough protection, or if there was enough protection, it was very costly in the area of health and welfare benefits for the workers, and also the corporations, I felt, in many cases, were also overpaying for some of the benefits.
By the way, I just wanted to mention that I too served many years in the labor movement before I left the labor movement in 1969 and then got involved in my own business. So I'm acquainted with some of the things you may say.
So you know the problem.
So I'm putting you on warning there. Okay, and who else is associated with you?
My partner, John Forer, who resides in Philadelphia, was an assistant manager of one of the largest hospitals in the Philadelphia area. So he had some of the same experiences that I had over the years, only from another perspective. Mm-hmm. And incidentally, it's a very renowned family, and I was very pleased for him to join together with me in our ventures. His father helped write the initial Security and Exchange Commissions way back when, the regulations for the Security and Exchange. And his mother is a current retired federal judge who has several books in the colleges that are required reading to become attorney, to get
So you
your
have
law
a
degree.
terrific legal background as well here.
That's right. You ring a bell, and there's several attorneys that'll come and and give us assistance because of John's father's credibility.
Very good. What I like so far is the fact that you coming from, let's say, the masses or the workers' point of view, and John Forer coming from the administration point of view. So you two then are partners in this company?
That's correct.
Okay. His title?
He's the president, and I'm chairman of the board.
Okay. Now, let's get right into it. What is HBS? A very nice sounding name. Health Benefits Services.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
HBS is a medical composite card program that we developed to give the economies of scales and provide better benefits at a less costly price in the areas of prescriptions, both mail order for maintenance drugs and acute at the drugstores, for hearing aids, for vision programs, for
Vision programs, you mean eyeglasses and things?
yes, for all kinds of vision coverage. It covers a durable medical equipment, home health care products like walkers, canes, and wheelchairs. And then we have a drug and alcohol abuse, mental and nervous disorder, and family counseling program, all covered under one medical composite card.
In other words, a person gets a card and it has a series of numbers for each individual service?
Yes, when a person enrolls in the program, they would receive a membership packet, and in the packet there would be a booklet explaining the coverages in each one of these areas, and then they would also have a card that would have the 800 number on the back of the card to place orders or for additional information to be serviced by any one of these vendors.
Okay, before we go into the program, I would like you to name some of the organizations or groups who now belong to HBS.
We have the Delaware County Chamber of Commerce, which is the third largest chamber of commerce in the state of Pennsylvania. We have the...
Well, who do they represent?
They represent hundreds of employers who represent thousands and thousands of people.
Okay.
We have organizations like the Retired Eastern Airlines Pilot Association. We have the retirees of TWA. We have the Mutual Beneficial Associations, which represents the 5 largest railroads in the United States, like Conrail and Amtrak. We have large third-party administrators that represent hundreds of employers that represent thousands of people.
Okay, let me switch now. Name some of the, let's say, national prescription or pharmacy groups that you're affiliated with, or who honors your card. Let's put it that way.
You mean who the vendors are under our card program, the providers of the services? We have Hooks-Brooks Super X, which is a $2.5 billion corporation as one of the mail order providers for prescription drugs. Mm-hmm. We have Express Scripts, which is owned by New York Life. And then we have another one called American Preferred Prescriptions, which has been probably one of the second or third oldest mail order houses in the country, been around the longest.
Okay, what about others, like Super X or whatever?
Are you talking about for drugstores?
Yes.
Oh, for drugstores
Yes,
now?
yes.
On the drugstores, we have the most major
Do you have
chain
Super
stores.
X?
Yes, we have Super X, we have Walmarts, we have Kmarts, we have Wall Bombs, we have Revco. I mean, it goes on and on and
How
on.
about Sears? Are they affiliated in this?
We have Sears on our vision program. Sears, Montgomery Ward, J.C. Penney, 2020 Vision Centers, LensCrafters. We have most of the major players under
Okay,
the
what
vision.
I wanted you to do is just touch on some. So you do have major chains involved in the pharmacy and the prescription and as well as the eyeglass.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, a person wants to get a prescription. Now, for the 800 number, I understand they call the 800 number and transact their situation. But what if they want to go to a local participating pharmacy?
If they go into a local participating pharmacy, first of all, when they enroll, they would be sent a national directory telling them which chain stores in their respective city will honor the card. They would go into the drugstore and they would present their card, and they would be given the price for the prescription, and the price would be substantially below wholesale.
Okay, a question. I usually don't like to do this, but I am a member of AARP, AARP,
Yes.
and they have a pharmacy program. How does yours compare to theirs?
AARP is a very fine organization. I look at AARP as,
I agree with you there.
I look at them as analogous to Daniel Boone, as a pioneer in something that needed to be done for many years. We've compared our pricing, just relating it to, or restricting it to prescriptions at this point. Our prices with AARP in most cases are 25 to 35% lower than AARP's are for maintenance prescription drugs. But AARP doesn't have the comprehensive program that we have. We have other areas that they don't even cover.
Meaning the equipment, the eyeglasses, and
All those other legs of our program, hearing aids and durable medical equipment,
okay,
et cetera.
let's get off that for a minute. Now, many plans require, well, let's say prohibit you coming in if you have a pre-existing condition.
Yeah, we get calls on that all the time, Jerry. If you, regardless of age, regardless of your pre-existing condition, you're accepted under the card. We developed the card program with people that have catastrophic illnesses specifically in mind. We want the sick and the elderly, the people that are on
I
fixed
mean, people
incomes.
have heart conditions, AIDS conditions, you know, chronic, high blood pressure, things like that. They're not prohibited from joining the plan.
They're well opened. Oh, they're welcomed with open arms.
So then there's no restriction, no discrimination of any kind.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, a person, for example, we know a tremendous burden on the system in America, and I could take half an hour on this, is that AZT, drugs for people with AIDS.
That's correct.
Give an example. How does your pricing compare to someone else's?
Well, let's say that, you know, an AIDS patient is given AZT, which is called Retrovar, and they have to take an average of 4 bottles a month to live. AZT, if you can find it, most drugstores don't want to carry it because they say they don't want people with AIDS coming into their store.
See.
And so that if you do find a drugstore that'll carry it, it normally retails between $170 and $200 a bottle. Times 4 bottles a month, times 12 months. Our program provides AZT in a confidential manner, delivered to your home. You don't have to travel anywhere. About $132 a bottle. So if you are paying for the prescription, you're saving, you know, figure the difference between 132 and 170 times 4 times 12, you're saving a substantial amount of money. If you happen to be an AIDS patient that has insurance, you now, under our program, if you have insurance that covers 80% or more of your prescription, we have another program that once you've satisfied your front-end deductible, in most cases your 20% is forgiven, so that your prescriptions are then given to you at no cost to you.
I see. Now, let's take another example. Let's say, for example, hearing aids, which is a big, big business in America, especially from the 60s on, when that loud, blaring music has affected so many people's hearing. Suppose I go into one of your participating vendors and I buy a hearing aid, and I find out a month, 3 weeks later, 2 weeks later, that I could have bought it for, say, $100 less. Let's say I paid $400. I have no idea of what these things cost, but hypothetically, $400. I find out the same make, the same model I could have bought for $300 right down the street.
The average hearing aid will run anywhere from $800 to $1,500 out retail.
Well, let's work with the $400.
Our program, through our program, the hearing aids are right around $400. That, first of all, our program is approximately 60% below retail for hearing aids.
Okay, but I didn't ask you that. I said, suppose I bought $800 hearing aid and I find out it's $300 cheaper somewhere else, same model, same make.
We, through our provider, guarantee double the difference back if you can document within 30 days, and to use your analogy, if you purchased a hearing aid for $400 and found out you could buy one for $300, you would be, and documented it, you would be sent $200 back You'd get the check, plus you'd still keep the hearing aid.
100 plus 100. So
That's
using your analogy of $800, and if I found it, let's just say for 500, I would get the difference of 300 plus 300.
If we charged 800, but we don't have any
No,
hearing.
no, I know.
You're right.
Hypothetically, I said.
That's correct.
So it's double.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Now, another very important question occurs to me. Eligibility. For example, you know, as a former union leader, and I know myself, there are times when a project or program is coming in, and it has to be approved by the majority, or a corporation, or a church, or anyone else. Suppose there's 1,000 people in an organization. I like to use specific examples. And 999 say they don't want the program. Can that one person, I'm the one person, can I enroll?
Yes, it can be offered on a voluntary basis, or the employer can payroll deduct, or the employer can buy it, or the union trust fund can pay for it, or they can just sponsor it and offer it to their members.
I see. So then it can be negotiated. It's a negotiable thing, just like healthcare programs are, or it can be accepted on an individual basis.
That's correct.
Okay, I just want to be certain of that because there's 1,000 people in my company, and I'm the only one that wants this plan. I can get it. That's what you're
Yes.
saying. Okay, another important question on eligibility. I'm married, I have a wife, I have 5 children. Now, in order to have my children covered, my wife and I have to join, or we have to enroll all the kids? How does that work?
One card will cover your entire immediate family. So you don't need to purchase a card for each person, but you might want additional cards for you have children in college away from home or whatever, just for identification purposes. And we charge a very nominal fee just for printing up the card, etc. But the
So
annual.
you're saying one card. I take the membership, my wife's prescriptions, my kids' prescriptions, if we need to buy any kind of, whether you said eyeglasses, hearing aids, or we need a therapy of some kind, they're all covered. They
That's
can all
correct.
take part.
Yes.
Okay.
And there's no limit on the usage. You can use every one of the benefits as often as you want to. I mean, there's no limit.
Okay, that's a good point. Now, let me ask this. I want to get back for a moment to drugstores. I'll tell you why, Mr. Platel. Prescriptions are such a big item, and I know this is where the concentration of phone calls have come to me on. Just suppose, again, hypothetically, that I'm in a neighborhood where there is no one participating in your program from the vendor's point of view. What's my recourse there?
Well, I mean, that's very remote, but if it should happen, you could have any one of the drugstores in your area contact our office. And if they met the criteria, if it's a credible organization and they were willing to offer the discounts for our cardholders, they could enroll in the program. This is not a click.
Okay, again, I want to be very clear. I live in a certain neighborhood. The big chain stores are not around. Maybe I'm in a very rural area.
Yeah.
I can, either go to my pharmacist and suggest that he call your office, and if he meets your qualifications and will honor the discounts and such, you can accept him into membership, and he would then be listed in the directory.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, let's suppose he doesn't want to become a member of HBS. Then is the recourse, am I right or wrong, the 800 number?
The 800 number, well, you mean for mail order prescriptions, for a maintenance drug. Yes, you can call the 800 number and order your prescriptions through the mail, and they're delivered to your home.
So that if there isn't any participating pharmacy anywhere around, if I can get to a telephone,
That's correct.
then I can, but how do I do that? Do I have to mail them the prescription?
What you do is you call the 800 number and you tell the pharmacist or the person at the other end of the line what kind of prescription that you want, and they will give you the price. Mm-hmm. And then you will either master charge your credit card the charge, or send a check or money order in. They will mail your prescription to your home.
Okay. Now, you mentioned something before. I wasn't entirely clear. If someone does have a health care program of some kind, without using names, how would this benefit them? I think you made, to be certain that I'm making the point, you said, like, for example, if a person holds a card with AARP, not only are your prices better, but you said your program also offers these other services. But then you mentioned something about 80%, 20%. I wasn't too clear about that.
Well, there are many people that have insurance in this country that even though they have insurance, they can't afford to pay 100% for their prescription and then wait to get their 80% back. So what they do, they go either without their prescriptions or they only order half of what they should have. Well, under our card program, a person in that category wouldn't have to front any money. They would simply mail in their prescription, and once it was validated by the mail-order house that they are an eligible participant under one of those insurance companies, and the coverage is 80% or more, they've satisfied their deductible, they'd get their prescriptions for the rest of the year at no cost to them.
That's what I thought you said, but I wasn't certain. It sounded a bit too good to be true. Now, let's get to another question. Membership. There must be a fee.
Yes, there's an annual fee, which is $69.95 a year, and that covers the entire immediate family.
Well, okay, $69.95 you said?
Yes.
Okay, $69.95 once a year.
That's correct.
Covering the individual and his family.
Yes.
Okay. How is that considered? I'm not too well versed in what plans cost. Is that in the higher levels, lower levels, or what?
When we make presentations to many of the corporations and the insurance agencies, and we don't tell them the price, and we say, well, what you put the value to it. And it's not uncommon for most of the people that we meet with, the experts, to say $400, $500, $600 a year. And when we give them this price, they become astonished that we can offer this at this pricing.
I see. See, I'm not too well versed on prices. That's why I ask you to make the comparison. Now, if a person, for example, orders this, oh, God forbid that so many people are involved with the need for AZT, but let's get away from that. Say heart medicine, liver medicine, blood pressure medicine. Can the savings, a question I ask you directly, the savings alone on this one portion of the program, or a family has a child with, say, asthma or something like that, can the savings from that phase of your program alone cover the $69?
Yes, you don't even have to be on a catastrophic illness. If you're on a maintenance drug, just on maintenance drugs alone.
By maintenance, you mean heart, blood pressure, stuff like that?
High blood pressure, you know, anything that is chronic, that requires that you take on a continuing basis is what we mean by maintenance. If you're on any of those medications, you're going to save more than the annual fee just in that one arena. You don't even have to look at the other products. You know, to get away from, but not to get away from, there's another catastrophic illness out there, or not an illness, but organ transplant patients, they have to take a drug called cyclosporin. And that runs about the same price as AZT, and the savings are about the same for those kinds of people. And I just recently found out about a drug called Vespicide that for people that have cancer that are on chemotherapy, they are being prescribed this particular drug to offset some of the side effects of chemotherapy. And I had a health clinic call me up the other day, and even at their volume of buying, they told me that they were paying about $35 a pill, and a person takes one a day. Well, under our program, it's about $28.50 a pill.
$35
a pill
per day?
Yes. In our program, it's about $28.50 a day for the same pill, same manufacturer, with our deep discounts. I didn't really say, our discounts on prescriptions are well below wholesale. Not retail, they're well below wholesale pricing.
Real wholesale.
Everything in our program is wholesale or below in pricing in all the products.
So then there are no exclusions, for example, in the prescription program that you can't get this drug or that drug or...
Every drug that's sold in the United States with a prescription you can purchase through our card program.
And this applies to brands, like if a doctor says, I don't want to name a company, but X brand in the prescription,
They'll get it.
they'll get it.
Yes.
So,
We're not pushing generics on anyone.
but if someone wants a generic,
We will advise them because, if they want a generic and they want to save more money, then we'll advise them they can get a generic if they want to, but it doesn't matter to us.
okay, let me get into one other phase before we wind down. We only have a few minutes left. Suppose an organization, a church organization, a social, political, labor, whatever, wants to sell your program to their members. Is there a way that the organization can derive some benefit?
Yes, we have sponsoring agreements and client agreements. A client agreement is for a corporation that's going to actually pay for the fees, the annual fees for their employees. Then we have sponsoring organizations where, in order for us to help that organization help their members, we have a sponsor agreement where they can receive compensation. We either can lower the cost of the card for their group and pay them some portion of the annual fee, or do both. I mean, we can either give them a commission, not a commission, but compensation from the annual fee, or lower the annual fee to their members.
So that, the answer to my question is yes. There
Yes.
is a compensation plan for organizations, so it would be it religious, political, labor, management, whatever. Now, what about, just a quick word on individuals? Someone says they want to be part of HBS, and it's an individual now, mind you, not connected with any corporation, any union, any organization. They want to be, they love your program, they want to broker it, sell it, whatever.
Oh, if someone wants to sell the program, we have marketing agreements for the individuals that sign a contract with us, and they go out and they can market our card program and be paid compensation.
Oh, I see. Then you work out a schedule with them.
Yes.
Okay. I think I've covered most of the important points. Is there anything you would like to add that maybe I didn't touch
Well,
on?
we are in 5 or 6 national magazines, and that people, if they wanted to purchase this on a one-on-one basis, they can. They don't have to go through an association, and they don't
I
have
think
to
we
go
made
through
that
an
point,
organization.
yeah.
Yes.
Right.
They can just buy it strictly on their own through some of our advertisements.
So you're in national magazines, and is there anything else you'd like to say in summarizing how you feel about the program now that you're really into it and you're doing it? Have you received any testimonials? Have you any feedback?
We have a lot of testimonials, and I would say this, that I don't see how anyone in the country that has problems in these areas, and approximately 70% of the people in the country will have a need for one or more of the items in this country covered under this card, could afford not to buy the card. It is a tremendous savings for anyone that uses this card program.
So you said in the beginning of the program that you wanted to implement a program that had meaning. Now, how do you personally feel? In the last 30 seconds we have, how do you personally feel? Do you feel that you've accomplished your goal?
I feel that we've created a program right now that we know is the best, but I'm not satisfied. We're going to make it better. We're going to do things, continuing to improve to help the needs of the people in this country, and we're satisfied where we are now, but we're going to make it better.
I've got to cut in on you now. I'd like to say, because we're about to close the program, I had been through this with Victor Melillo, and as I had mentioned at the outset of the program, that I wanted to question you myself in front of the camera, and you've responded beautifully. I am very impressed with the program. I think it has great merit to it, and I would not be ashamed to recommend it to people that I know. And in fact, following this program, I will join your program in enlisting myself and my family.
That's wonderful. I really appreciate that.
Okay. It
Thank
was
you.
a pleasure having you here with us.
It was my pleasure, believe me. Thank you very much.